Go. Wrestling.
Right, are you ready? Let's go.
Yeah.
Sup and welcome to the Run In Wrestling podcast. Before we get into it, make sure you're checking out all of our socials. Run In Wrestling everywhere. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course where you're watching / listening to this on YouTube and the podcast app on iTunes. Make sure if you are watching us on YouTube, you're leaving us a like, share, and subscribe. And if you're on the podcast app, just leave us a review. Just 5 stars. We're better than Kenny Omega, so we're more than 5 stars, but you can't give more than 5 stars. If we were on the Dave Meltzer list, then we'd break the list, but we can't. Live from the Running Studios in Kent, I am Ryan.
And from the Leicester Studios, I'm your Running Wrestling champion, Matt.
Yes, the Brock Lesnar to my Roman Reigns, as I am the workhorse, and you are going to lose your title at WrestleMania.
I'm not going to lose my title at WrestleMania. I'm still the longest reigning Running Wrestling champ, and I plan to make my reign as long as possible, because nobody is ready for Mata.
Fuck
Matchka.
WWE though, by the way, because you was like John Cena, I was like Baron Corbin, and then bloody Kevin Owens took the pin. Fuck that. Fuck that.
Well, I said Cena because it seemed logical, and Cena almost ate the pin.
Yeah, see, I said Baron, and I thought it was either going to be Baron or Dolph, because they're the two least relevant people to that storyline.
Yeah.
So, anyways, a happy Rusev Day to you and to our listeners.
Happy Rusev Day.
So this podcast is going to be a mixture. So we're going to do half the show based on what's happened in wrestling this week, and the other half is going to be our top 10 list of superstars who could do with a rebrand. I haven't actually come up with the title of this yet, but basically the superstar switch up is normally just after WrestleMania. I don't think they're going to do a whole redraft again. But if they're going to do 5 people from each brand swapping sides, these are going to be our 5 picks.
Can I just say before we continue, Aiden English the other day when he was singing the Rusev Day rap, whatever, spot on.
Rap?
He did rap, didn't he?
No, he sings.
Yeah, but it sounded like he rapped the other day.
I don't know.
Let me get this up. Aiden English raps.
You get Aiden English in a box, wrapped up for you. From Argos.
What came up instead was a fan tunes out Aiden English in Nottingham, England, and that is a wrestler from House of Pain. He's a little child from House of Pain Wrestling.
Rude.
Who beat me in a 3-second match.
I've never seen you wrestle.
Well, it was an unscripted match. But yeah, it happened.
Wait, wrestling scripted? What?
Duh, 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 duh. End of the podcast.
It's real to me, god damn it!
And that's all for this week from Running Wrestling. Tune in next week where we'll talk about why wrestling is scripted. Anyway.
Right, should we do the superstar switch up first, or should we talk about this week in wrestling first?
Let's talk about how every week I said I'd show up and then last week I didn't show up.
You tried to show up.
I was making a dig at Ronda.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it's such a weird news story, because WWE, apparently, from the inside sources that everybody has, that it was posted wrong.
Now, from what I heard something different, is the fact that WWE was supposed to have Ronda on the show, but she also had an invite to be on the Ellen show. So WWE, in all their wisdom, were just like, "Yo, this will get us more publicity for WrestleMania. Stick her on Ellen."
If from a business standpoint, it makes sense.
But yeah, that's what I heard. So
either way, she wasn't on the show. You didn't answer my question. Which one do you want to do first? Flip a coin.
I don't have a coin at hand. I'm broke, right? Let's do the swaps. Let's talk about the swaps.
Okay, cool. So we've got a top 10 list of 5 Raw, 5 SmackDown superstars who we believe should swap over during the Superstar Shake-Up, the brand switch, whatever they're going to call it. We've put these together with the help of our friend Dallas, who's a contributor here at Running Wrestling. If you want to be a part of that, just tweet us. You can be a part of it. We're happy to have people involved on the podcast. We like having people involved. We like actually tweeting people. We have quite a few conversations on our Twitter sphere, so make sure you're checking us out, Running Wrestling.
It also means I have to do less work, so please get involved.
And me. That's what we're about here, Running Wrestling. The less work, the better.
But it also gives you a chance to fight for the prestigious Running Wrestling Championship.
That and voice their opinions.
Well, voice their opinions, but let's be honest, like the Running Wrestling Championship, the most prestigious thing in the world. But you won't get it because it's mine, but,
It's a mine. Right, let's start off at number 10, and so our first two, spoiler alert, 10 and 9 are going to be the Intercontinental Championship and the US Championship. But let's talk about number 10, the Intercontinental Championship. Obviously, it's going to be Seth Rollins, The Miz, who's champion, and Finn Balor at WrestleMania. But we believe that those titles could swap every year and they could have completely different storylines.
I definitely think the IC title should be back on SmackDown. It was fun on SmackDown, but because it being on Raw, it was the more serious championship.
Yeah.
Because it was the only championship there.
I think that Seth could possibly win the title and Miz have a bit of leave of absence due to his child. So I think it would be great for Seth to take that over.
Seth or Finn,
either one
will do the title justice. I would like to see Finn more over Seth because Seth I see as a world champion and Finn more as someone who can bring the mid card back to its coming back to its prestigious title. But I just think Finn could do it.
Boo! Unpopular opinion. Boo! That's what people do on Twitter.
Oh yeah. Or correct me.
So yeah, we believe that the Intercontinental Championship should be going out from SmackDown, from Raw to SmackDown. But we're both kind of in agreement that The Miz is going to drop the title to have a bit of a break. I mean, I'd want a break if I've just had a kid and I'm touring everywhere, especially with a wife like Maurice. Hello. Size of them nongas at the moment.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I tell you, just become single.
Number 9, the US Championship. So this is obviously going to be Randall Orton. Spoiler alert. And if you haven't already watched Fastlane, then what you're doing listening to our podcast, go watch Fastlane, then come back.
Fastlane was good. We should have probably we haven't covered the Fastlane results. We should have probably done that before we jumped into this.
That was your choice. It's your fault.
Nah.
So yeah, Randy Orton, current champion. It hasn't actually been set in stone at the moment, but at the moment it's currently Bobby Roode versus Randy Orton. Jinder is 9 out of 10 likely to be thrown in there.
He's got to be.
And we believe that whoever wins, whoever wins should swap over to the Raw brand. Any of these could do with a rebrand. That's the thing. Not in a Jinder, maybe not so much, but he could do with more storylines over in Raw. We're going to speak more about these later, especially Bobby Roode and Randy Orton. # spoiler alert. But yeah, number 8, the Bar. The Bar.
We don't set the bar. We are the bar.
I tweeted this out the other day, and honestly, one of my family members' initials is SEABA because her last name's Double Barrel, and it spells out Seba. And honestly, I just could not stop creasing when I just sat there and went, "We don't just set Sebar, we are Sebar." And honestly, it's not that funny, but I was just creasing up to myself.
It's just the little things in Ryan's life. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, so they're going to be facing Braun at WrestleMania. Probably going to drop the tag team titles. right, power rank, funny and actual could be Braun's tag team partners.
Elias, it's got to be.
That's number one.
Got to be Elias. If not Elias, it's got to be like some jobber.
Kurt Hawkins is in there,
Kurt Hawkins.
I think, to ruin his streak. Bring back James Ellsworth for it.
Fuck James Ellsworth. Jamie Noble, come on down.
Road Dogg.
Badass Billy Gunn. Do New Age Braunston.
Shits and gigs, Ronda Rousey. 2 matches in one night, 2 tag matches.
Because you just missed that one Raw, you're just going to have to, do 2 matches.
Yeah, also like WrestleMania. Yeah, so
mad.
it's obviously going to be dropped to Braun and probably Elias. I tweeted out, and it wasn't that funny, but I found it funny again. It was probably because I was tired, because I'd just done an overnight shift. But I named them the Maestros among men.
The Maestro, why?
Because Maestros is in music, and they had the...
Okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so...
I don't know why I didn't get that.
But yeah, we're going to talk more about Raw in a bit. But one of the funniest moments from Raw this week, because obviously Braun's voice isn't actually like that. It's not always like that garbage. It's it's a bit higher pitched than that. And when I think he shouted at, I think it was Carl Anderson at the end, "I'm going to WrestleMania," and it just sounded like someone going, "I'm going to Disneyland." Oh, it was one of the funniest things.
The kids say the funniest things.
But yeah, so we think Bar going to drop the tag titles and then move over to SmackDown. They even said on Raw this week that they've defeated everyone, so they should move over. Which brings us over to number 7, the Usos, who have also done the same.
Oh yeah, Usos definitely gotta move.
We're going to say that they're going to drop the tag titles at WrestleMania.
Yeah, because the way I see it, they're probably going to do a triple threat TLC kind of style. I hope it's a triple threat TLC match, because it'll just be in honour of the Dudley Boys going into the Hall of Fame.
Someone did tweeted us TLC and stairs match, because for some reason people keep using the stairs at the moment, and I said, what about and mallets? So then you've got a TLC S and M match.
Remember the first TLC and stairs match? Well, that was a weird time in WWE.
That was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree completely. Should be at least a ladder match. At least
the ladder.
Yeah, at least a ladder, please.
Yeah, because this Mania hasn't got any ladders set up yet, so...
Not yet.
Ooh, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn in a contract versus contract match. Loser has to change brand. Bam.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sorry, my brother's girlfriend's just came in the house and said hello. I think it was to me, but I don't think she realises I'm recording. But yeah, so Uso's going to drop. We're going to say to the Bludgeon Brothers or to the New Day? I'd say to the Bludgeon.
Like, Bludgeon Brothers, because, yeah, like, they just came out and just, decided to go in Raw. Like, they decided to go in Raw and everyone.
Yeah.
They fucked shit up.
Number 6, Sasha Banks. We were kind of on the fence about what women to swap over, but spoiler alert again, our number 5 is another member of the 4 Horsewomen from SmackDown. But yeah, we've said Sasha Banks. I feel like she's another one. She's not going to get the title, so therefore she could do with a swap. Asuka, we're pretty much saying that she's going to end up on SmackDown. I mean, if you're going for the title at WrestleMania, whether you win or not, it would be a bit of a bullshit scenario if she goes, yeah, I'm going for the SmackDown Women's title, and if she loses, and I know probably the comment section right now is ready and hot going, Asuka's not going to lose her streak. And it's like, well, it's a possibility, that's all I'm saying. Is it'd be a bit of a bullshit thing if she went back to Raw. Plus, with
I,
Ronda
I,
Rousey on Raw, it doesn't make any sense.
I could see Asuka losing her streak, but staying on SmackDown.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, either way, she's going to have to go onto SmackDown.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But yeah, I think with Sasha, it would be. I don't know what they're building towards. I don't know whether they are actually doing a Sasha versus Bayley match or whether they're going to end up doing a Sasha and Bayley versus Absolution match at Mania. It's not set in stone at the moment.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just been in a world of my own just then.
Cool.
Always a good sign. Yeah, Sasha should go over.
And then number 5, Becky Lynch. She's so over. And I feel like the thing lacking with Raw at the moment is babyface women. Because, I mean, if you think about it, Alexa is heel, Mickie James is heel. Nia's kind of starting to go babyface, but not yet. And plus, she's kind of that dominant force babyface, if she is going to be one. Absolution are all heels. Bayley's a babyface, but, I mean, you're never going to turn her heel anyway.
Like, it would be interesting to see how they would portray Bayley as a heel. Like, because hugging's her thing. What's she going to do? Hug herself? Like,
Yeah.
Ooh. Good one.
But yeah, since Becky Lynch came back from filming The Marine, she's really over. She was really good with Sami Zayn. And I think to go over to Raw, I think you could easily put her in the title picture. Or even in fact, put her in, you know, any kind of storyline. Her against Absolution. Maybe her against Ronda Rousey down the line, just as a one-off match. You know, you never know.
Yeah, there's unlimited possibilities, but WWE just refused to take those. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out if like Becky was to move brands and stuff. Like, I personally think Becky should move brands just because on SmackDown, like, I'm fed up of like her and Naomi always teaming up.
Yeah, or her and Charlotte, and it's just kind of like do something different.
It's like, this is why the brand split is seen as not working, like, because people like just do the same matches week in, week out.
True.
So, like, we saw Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin 70 billion times.
Number 4, Bobby Roode or Randy Orton. So, as we said, this was based on number 9, US champion. So, at the moment, Matt's saying he thinks Jinder's going to win. I think it's not going to be Jinder, but we're going to do our predictions for WrestleMania, obviously, at another time. But we've both said either Bobby Roode or Randy Orton needs to move, and both of them need to turn heel. Because they're both just really boring as baby faces.
Oh yeah, they're pretty, like, as much as I love Bobby Roode, the only thing that I'm like interested in seeing is just like what direction WWE are putting him in. Like, I don't like the direction he's in at the moment, so I want to see that direction shuffled up and made to be like, you know, more for the Bobby Roode we want, like how TNA Bobby Roode. Let's
or even NXT Bobby Roode.
NXT Bobby Roode, yeah, but I like the whole idea of Bobby Roode. Like, bring James Storm in and create beer money.
Oh, we've got too much of a big roster. We'd have to kick people out.
Yeah, just release like Kurt Hawkins again, like.
Again. But with both of these, I mean, people could argue with us and say, yeah, but Bobby Roode's got Glorious and it's over. Randy Orton's got the RKO and it's over with the fans. Yeah, but at the same time, Adam Cole is heel in NXT and he's got Adam Cole, baby. So, I mean, Randy Orton's best work has come as a heel.
Oh yeah, Randy Orton's one of the most sick, sadistic heels this business has ever seen. I remember watching the storyline of him and Shawn Michaels, where like he punted him for the first time, and then Michaels wasn't seen for months, and then just made a return, and we're just like, oh my fucking god! And Randy Orton's best off as a heel, Like, there's no doubt about it. His rivalries with Batista, Triple H, Ric Flair, everyone, even Undertaker.
John Cena.
All been John Cena's an obvious one, but they overdid it. with
Yeah, a
John
little bit.
Cena. But like, it's just Randy Orton is better as a heel. Like, I've never like looked at Randy Orton's career and went, well, remember that time when Randy Orton was a babyface and he did this? Like, nah, it's always like, remember when Randy Orton was a heel and he absolutely
And
like, he
RKO'd
kissed
someone
Stephanie.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, or kissed Stephanie on the lips whilst Hunter was tied or handcuffed to the ropes.
That's a weird kink.
You know? Well, no, that was like the whole McMahon versus
Yeah, I know what it
Orton.
was. Yeah.
So, like, we need WWE to sort yourself out.
I blame Road Dogg. Oh, you didn't know?
Bring back Jimmy Jacobs. Come on,
Was he the one who got sacked for having a picture with
Bullet Club.
Yeah,
You know it.
that's such bullshit. Number 3. It's we didn't put him at the top because I personally want to get rid of this as well. Is Ty Dillinger. And I don't think the number 10 thing is that over anymore. People will do
Send him
it,
back down to NXT.
but you can't send people back down to NXT. Do you know what I mean? They'd have to
Yet.
leave then come back.
I guess, but
But this is
I don't
well, we can't say he's got to go back down to NXT anyways because we're saying that he needs a brand swap. And to go over to Raw, you know, he could do with a revamp. You know, maybe turn him heel and then possibly have the number 10 chant haunt him. You know, that's not me anymore. I'm not all about the perfect 10. You know, I'm Ty Dillinger. Come up with something for him. And then when the crowd starts chanting 10 for him, you know like when Cody had chants towards him when he was Stardust and people were like, Cody. Do something like
Yeah.
that. It worked.
like Kane's May 19th.
Exactly.
Like May 19th. Ah.
Perfect example. Because he's really just not used on the main roster. I didn't even watch the Fastlane pre-show, but apparently he was on that with Mojo Rawley.
Oh, was he? I didn't even see the Fastlane pre-show. It just doesn't fascinate me, the pre-show.
Well, exactly. Apparently it was a 3-on-3 match. Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable were in there somewhere. I can't remember the other two. Well, people will probably already correct us. But again, none of those people would interest us. And Ty Dillinger is someone who could really do with a rebrand over on Raw.
It was Breezango and Ty Dillinger who defeated Mojo Rawley, Chad Gable, and Shelton Benjamin.
Ah, there we go.
7.5 minutes they got.
I mean,
So
it's 7.5 minutes, then
that's
that
a
match
minute
deserved.
per person. A minute per person,
Yeah,
and then some
roughly.
left over for the referee.
basically. So yeah, Ty Dillinger at number 3. Number 2, AJ Styles.
The face that runs the place, the champ that runs the camp.
He won't be on SmackDown, which is the house that AJ Styles put up himself. Apparently.
Just, got bought from IKEA and just set up.
Yeah. 3D printed his own house.
I mean, with that sort of money, like, you don't need the house.
No.
You
With
don't need the 3D printer.
with WrestleMania, we believe that he's going to lose his WrestleMania title to
Shinsuke Sneakers Nakamura.
Oh, so many people have pointed out this flaw where they keep putting the Snickers thing on all of their promos and all of their sort of match card things. What are you doing?
I just dropped my money by accident. Sorry,
I can keep hearing it.
Sorry.
Yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura keeps it because his name's quite long in a way, and it looks perfectly as though they're calling him Shinsuke Snickers Nakamura.
He tweeted about it. Like, let's be honest. Like, he even noticed it.
You really want him to drop it in a promo.
I really do want to see him just be like, my name is Shinsuke Sneaker Nakamura, and he just pull out a Snickers bar and start eating it.
Oh,
Then
1 minute, my
starts
house
banging the
phone's
ring.
going off.
No worries.
Sorry, I'm back. Very unprofessional of me. But yeah, so I can't remember where I was.
We were talking about AJ Styles going over to the
Yeah.
the main show.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of SmackDown, the house that AJ Styles built, Raw, the platform in which he stands upon. I don't know.
Raw that becomes AJ's door.
Yeah, to the house that AJ Styles built. We presume he's gonna. I think both of us are predicting. I think quite a lot of people are predicting that he's gonna lose the title to Shinsuke at WrestleMania, and at the same time, we can't really see him feuding with any more people after WrestleMania. He's with that belt. He's already feuded in the past year and a bit with John Cena, Randy Orton, obviously people in the Six Pack Challenge, which is obviously Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Jinder, just to name a few, and
I'd like
obviously
to see him have a rivalry with Rusev.
Yeah, but their match on SmackDown again. We're going to talk about this more in a bit, but was really good. So yeah, brings us on to number 1, and someone who currently isn't wrestling at the moment. He's injured and is due to be back just after WrestleMania, I believe. And that is Mr. Samoa Joe. Joe.
Sorry.
He's another powerhouse on Raw. They've got quite a few on there at the moment, and I kind of feel like he came in, he kind of didn't make as much of an impact because of this injury. Like he had quite a lot of momentum, and they just kind of flopped. And I think going over to SmackDown would be great for him. I'd love to see him versus Shinsuke for the world title.
Yeah.
Or even if we're saying Seth or Finn wins the Intercontinental title and they go over to SmackDown, Samoa Joe going for the Intercontinental title.
Who would I like to see? I would like to see Samoa Joe versus Rusev. 2 submission guys, 2 big, similar size guys as well.
Presuming they're going to turn Rusev face properly.
They've got to turn Rusev face. He's too over with He's too over with, he's too over with Rusev Day, yeah.
Well, his Aiden, or everyone's Aiden, as he calls him, you broke my Aiden, is probably the only aspect at the moment that's causing him to be heel, because, he just keeps getting in the way of these matches and that, and keeps insulting the crowd. So I'd say turn Aiden face as well with Rusev. Maybe they could even do a thing where Rusev is like, Aiden, you need to be nicer. Mashka. But yeah, we think Samoa Joe could do with not a rebrand, but could do with more on SmackDown than if he comes back to Raw. So is our top 10 list. If you want to let us know why we're wrong, then leave a comment in the section below if you're on YouTube, or tweet us at RunInWrestling. You can't really get it. I'm not going to spell it out because it's really obvious how to do it. But let us know why we are wrong, and with actual plausible reasoning. I don't want none of this. No, you're wrong. Yeah, but why? Because I said you're wrong. That's to me how marks sound.
See, I've just created a parody account, and now you just shut me down.
You shut me down.
But look, did you get your Rusev Day mic, by the way? I sent it in the post.
Nope.
Oh.
It's not a happy Rusev Day for me, then.
Oh, those Rusev Day mics gotta be a thing from forever now.
Rusev Day.
Like, when I saw it, I did mark out. I woke my girlfriend up and just was like, oh my god, check this out. Like, Rusev Day.
He needs his own... like The Miz has like an upside down mic square. Rusev needs one of them in the ring that says Happy Rusev Day on it. Right. I'm going to be working... Right, I'm leaving Running Wrestling. I'm going to work for WWE Marketing.
What?
I'm off.
You're off. You're off. Don't do this to me, man.
Just means you have to do more work.
I'm not in a state to do more work.
Right, let's move on to this week in wrestling. Let's get some of the...
We had Fastlane.
No, I was going to say, let's
Oh.
get the non-WWE stuff out the way first, because we'll just skim through it. You haven't watched the Ring of Honor 16th anniversary yet, have you?
No, nope, not at all.
But you know the results.
I don't mind spoilers for this one. I'm a loose
Cool.
watcher.
Do you know the results? If not, then I could always just quiz you on it.
I don't know the results. Quiz me on it.
Oh, Tenille Dashwood, aka
Emma,
versus Brandy Rhodes in
Emma,
the Women
surely.
of Honor. Yeah.
yeah.
Quite a good match, and obviously not the start of a good night for Brandy Rhodes. Flip Gordon versus Hiromu Takahashi.
Flip Gordon?
No, Hiromu Takahashi.
I was
defeated him
kind
with
of
the
hoping
time
for the
bomb.
kid.
Punishment Martinez versus Marty Scurll.
Marty Scurll.
Yeah, it was really good. Really good match. Marty Scurll's eye ended up bleeding, so God,
Yeah,
I
I
hope he's
saw
getting
the
that
picture.
checked out. That was horrible.
So,
Was a bit of a weird ending because the ref just kind of turned away and it didn't seem as though there was a reason. But you know Marty Scurll's kind of thing where he pulls like a bag out from his trunks and chucks powder in someone's face. He went to do that, and then but I won't ruin it after that because you don't know how it ends. Haha. Silas Young versus Kenny King.
Oh, I know the result for this one. Kenny King. I have a funny story about Kenny King, which I'm going to divulge with you all right now. I was at a Southside wrestling event back in 2015. This was when I was with my ex-girlfriend, and me and her friends hung out. So, and we went to go see Southside, and like Kenny King was on the show, and like obviously at Southside show the wrestlers come out and do signings because it's an indie show and stuff. But Kenny, when he came out to do his signing, he saw one of my ex-girlfriend's friends and walked directly to her, not his merch table, and started chatting her up. And she now has him on Facebook, but has always cut his efforts off of like him hitting on her. So fun story. Kenny King hit on one of my ex-girlfriend's friends.
Story time with Matt. Dun-dun.
But yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, you know who shows up afterwards after the match.
No, I don't. I knew who won. I
Never
didn't
mind.
know anything else.
Okay, well, I'll leave that then. Soul Cow Uncensored against the Hung Bucks. Hung Bucks are the champions.
Hung Bucks lost.
Yes, they did, and which
Oh,
was a really good match, actually. Well worth watching.
So they're no longer they're no longer the Ring of Honor World 6 Man.
No. It was a Las Vegas street fight match they had.
Fair enough. What's that? Betting on everything.
It's just basically a hardcore match in a way.
Yeah.
Cody against Matt Taven.
Cody.
Yep,
I knew that
100%.
one because Barry the drug-free bear turned out to be Kenny Omega. I watched Being the Elite, so
Be elite.
elite,
Elite.
elite, elite,
was really weird that Brandy kissed
yeah,
Kenny.
like
and people claiming two different things. So apparently one thing is because the Golden Lovers is meant to be kind of a, in a way, homosexual act, but like not at the same time. So when Brandy was shouting, "You're a fraud, you're a fraud," people were like, "Well, it's really homophobic." And then, but apparently it's something to do with just the pure fact of Kenny, just being, not touching someone else's female, I guess, because even if he was heel, like, he wouldn't ever do it. So I think apparently that's the reason why she was saying you're a fraud. But it's a really weird situation. I don't understand why she kissed him.
no one. I like if someone does, please explain it to me because like I'm in a very I like Brandy and Cody. Please don't split them up.
Tweet
in
us
real life.
at Running Wrestling. The Briscoes against MCMG.
What, Motor City Machine Guns?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Briscoes, Motor City Machine Guns. I almost said shitty.
Shitty.
Wouldn't have won that against the Briscoes, surely.
Yeah. And then do you know how the final ends up? Dalton Castle and Jay Lethal?
Yeah, Dalton Castle would have retained because like Ring of Honor don't like giving championships like champions like 30 days with the belt or something like.
Yeah, they don't do short runs, do they?
No, it's always like I think the most is like half a year minimum. So,
anyways, really good match, but I wasn't emotionally involved with it, so therefore, it's just one of those ones where I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay, that was cool. Let's move on. Well, we had like the New Japan Cup, which I haven't managed to watch much of recently.
I haven't watched it.
I know some of the results. All I'm saying is apparently Zack Sabre Jr. faced Naito?
Yeah, one of them. Naito.
Or something like that. And apparently that's a really good match, so I'm just going to leave that there. But let's move on to Fastlane.
That was my car going
fast.
Really
We're going to ignore pre-show.
Yep, so pre-show. We've already done.
First match of the night in which I think everyone... So overall... sorry, before we even get into the first match. Overall... It was a pretty good pay-per-view from what we all kind of gave it. We all was just kind of like, oh, it's going to be crap. And it was actually pretty good.
I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. It was one of WWE's better pay-per-views before WrestleMania. So
we had Nakamura versus Rusev. And we all, everyone knew that Nakamura was going to win. But there was some really good offense from both sides.
Oh, yeah. I was kind of like in a bad mood before the pay-per-view started, so when it started and I heard Shinsuke's music, I was like, oh, why are they sticking the main event of WrestleMania on first? It's like they don't care about their talent. I sounded like the truest mark ever, but then like now that I'm calm and chill, I was like, we all knew Shinsuke was going to be out first, really.
Yeah.
There was nowhere else to put him on the card. Like, because it was a match made on the SmackDown before. So,
But, yeah, I mean, Shinsuke works over Rusev's leg. Rusev, at one point, I think Shinsuke goes for a Kinshasa. And then Rusev ends up, like, kicking him in the face, which was absolutely fantastic. Really good match. Kind of made both look strong and kind of leads to what happened on SmackDown, which we're going to talk about. I'd say we'll talk about SmackDown straight after, because it would make more sense to go Fastlane SmackDown, even though Raw was first.
But we've already spoken about Raw slightly. So
yeah, we'll talk about it more though. Next match, Bobby Roode versus Randall Keith Orton, or should I say Robert Roode versus Randall Keith Orton for the US title.
Good
Dallas
match.
actually got this correct.
I enjoyed it. I don't get. Wait,
what?
So how is he?
No.
How is he not?
So he wasn't involved with the podcast, and the rules are you have to be on the podcast to get him. He couldn't get his audio to us because apparently in America where he is there's awful weather, so he couldn't send it over, which is fine. But if he'd sent over his audio, you would no longer be run-in wrestling champ.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, if he got it correct, surely he's champ, because didn't we all get the same results?
But yeah, he that was the only one he guessed differently.
Dallas, don't even think about coming for my title, boy.
He's coming for it at WrestleMania.
Don't.
But yeah, so Randy Orton won. I kind of felt like Jinder was going to get involved during the match, but instead he got involved after the match.
Yeah, I thought Jinder was going to get involved. But,
the end was...
that's the only way I saw Randy, Bobby retaining. Yeah. I thought it was going to be, and then it makes the triple threat. That way would have made more sense to me, to make it the triple threat at WrestleMania, to make it easy and simple on the fans, for the casual fans anyway. But no, this time they've just kind of gone the long way around it, so yeah. Yeah,
but even at the end, obviously Randy won, and then in the end, Jinder comes out, so he looks strong, Randy looks strong, and then Bobby Roode managed to hit 2 glorious DDTs on both of them, so even he looks strong coming out of it. Although...
everyone looks strong. That's what WWE needs.
Although, people weren't too happy during this match, because there was Byron Saxton chants during it.
Good old Byron, fucking things up as always.
Get rid of Byron, replace him with Renee Young.
See, I like Byron Saxton when he was on NXT. He was a good commentator for NXT. Obviously, he's not now because there's Mauro Ranallo and Nigel McGuinness, but like, and Percy Watson. Can't forget Percy. But like, move Byron over to 205.
No, I'll just get rid of him. Put Renee Young in there. That's all I'm happy with. Don't want him on 205. I think the guys on 205 Live are great, and even if they put Drake Maverick on commentary every now and then as GM again, would be great.
I'd like to see Drake Maverick, Rockstar Spud actually wrestle.
I'd imagine they're probably going to lead to that, but not yet. I think they want their focus on getting a new
SummerSlam.
I personally think he was meant to come in as a wrestler, but I think kind of what happened, they were like, okay, well, we need the Cruiserweight title and we want a GM. They pitched the idea to him, and I reckon he was kind of like, yeah, as long as I can wrestle down the line. So I'd imagine that's what they're probably going to do. Anyways, next match. Becky Lynch.
I see. Wait. Oh, I was going to make one final point.
Go on.
I can see Drake Maverick wrestling by SummerSlam.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Becky Lynch and Naomi versus Natalya and Carmella. It's a filler match. No one was really bothered by this, and was a really weird ending.
Yeah, I wasn't really a fan.
So, the briefcase was held at the side by Natalya, as though Carmella was going to use it or cash it in, but there was no title there. And then, in the end, Lynch turned her back on Carmella, and then Carmella got the pin on Becky Lynch.
It made no sense. It was messy. It was a filler match. That's all it was. It was a filler match.
There was
no storyline to
it. Only part that I kind of got into was Carmella, how much damage she probably did to Naomi's hair, and I was just kind of like, oh my god, because I know what, like, we all know what females are like with their hair, and especially, you know, Naomi, where she does so much with her hair, put dips in the end of it and everything. I mean, yeesh, I bet you that took a lot of convincing backstage when they were like, so we want Carmella to really go in at your hair. You what? I will fuck you up, boy.
Just imagine if it's Naomi's thing. She's like, yeah, just really go at it, make it look so real that it is actually real.
Imagine if she'd actually pulled a bit of hair out.
I'm into it. That's what, I swear that's what some, like, the women buy extensions that, and then, like, very loosely put them into someone.
Oh, no, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like, she should have done that, got a fake, like, dread.
Yeah. She doesn't have dreads.
Like, bam. Well, you know what I mean. The
You're
style
racist.
of her hair, like, mate, it's like.
She should have had an
extension.
extension. Yeah.
Half an hour ago.
She should have had an extension.
I woke up like an hour.
I was about to say, you can't say half an hour. We've been on it. I hope recorded for more than half an hour.
I said it and then looked at the time. I was like, actually.
Wait a minute. Yeah, Usos versus New Day. Good match.
Yeah, it was a good match. I was like getting into it. I was like, I woke my girlfriend up to watch because I was like, look, you need to watch this match because the match at Hell in a Cell was just incredible. And like it was a great match. Like the Usos and New Day, they have so much great chemistry together. And then when the Bludgeon Brothers music hit, I was very annoyed because I was wanting this great.
Before
match.
We get into the Bludgeon Brothers, let's talk about the actual match. So they told like a really good story where it was Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston obviously against both the Uso brothers, and it was so good because they hit each other's finishers.
Yeah, that's what.
And they obviously kicked out of them, and I think that was the part where you were kind of like they told the story of two teams that know each other so well they could do each other's finishers, but they wouldn't be to pin each other, which I thought was absolutely great. And then the Bludgeon Brothers come out, and this was the one time where they used the mallets, and the mallets looked like pieces of plastic, which they probably are.
Well, yeah, but it's just like I just found it funny how like they've just been given mallets. Like I'm surprised they're not tried to squish their heads yet. Like just be like bam, done.
I mean, they could at least try and do what Triple H did, and put their hand over it and use them like that, rather than I'm not going to go into it. But at the end of the day, they came in. The match was a no contest because of it, and oh my god, did they lay waste to everyone?
Oh God, they laid waste and then decided that everyone was okay again, so they laid waste
Xavier
again.
Woods onto the steps was honestly so painful to watch because
it's hard to watch because that bottom set of steel steps is the real one, like that's heavy and stuff, and like just seeing his back just hit it, you can just tell he was in real pain.
Yep.
Like,
Charlotte Flair versus Ruby Riott. Really obvious how this was going to go, but it was an okay match. I'm not going to say it was a great match. I'm not going to say it was a bad match. It just, in my opinion, people are probably going to say it's a really good match. Ruby Riott, when they decide to pull the trigger on her, is going to be amazing, in my opinion.
See, like, there was one of two ways how this was going to go for me. If like Natty and Carmella lost their match earlier in the night, I could see Ruby Riott losing, and then the Riott Squad obviously coming out to attack Charlotte and stuff, and whatnot. And then then Becky Lynch and Naomi get taken out and leave Charlotte in the ring, and Carmella's just like FABULOUS, yes, cashing in that briefcase on.
It's not the same as Seth Rollins' music at WrestleMania, is it?
No. We're all just watching and just FAB. You're just like, oh,
hurry up and get in the ring. But yeah, so the Riott Squad obviously tried to get involved, but then Becky Lynch and Naomi came down, got involved, and in the end, Naomi and Becky Lynch were caught by the ref, so they got sent out, and then the ref didn't actually see the rest of the Riott Squad getting involved, but were just like, wait a minute, you're out of here as well. And the whole crowd was just like, yeah, kind of.
We got what we wanted, but
and then of course what happened afterwards, which probably has produced one of the best photos they're going to do in 2018, one of the best shots where Charlotte is standing in the ring, holding up her title in the dark, and in the background is the Titantron with Oscar's video titles in the background.
I am the future. Da 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 da.
And yeah, so she's obviously claimed she's going for the SmackDown Women's Champion.
Because nobody is ready for Asuka.
I think we kind of said that if she was going to go for the title, it would have to be after Fastlane. Yeah, it would be Charlotte. Yeah, so main event: AJ, John, Sam, Kevin, Dolph, and Baron. No last names. Which was a better match than I expected.
Yeah, it was good for what it was. Like, I got confused at first why Shane McMahon's music hit first before the main event. I was like, come on, really? Are we doing this? Because it struck, like, as soon as I heard Shane's music, I was like, so Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are getting screwed out of the title.
Yeah, it was pretty much obvious.
Where
was Daniel
Shane
Bryan?
should have been. I don't know, but like Shane, says he's returning next week, and I'm just like, was he meant to be away? He can't be injured because he's retired. Like he can't, I understand he has dad duties and stuff, but like you'd think he'd have something sorted for every Tuesday night.
Right, let's go through a quick run through of what happened, and then we can go through our evaluation of it. The match began. Cena literally cleared the ring with AA's everyone except Styles because, funnily enough, you'd be sensible and not go for him. And then in the end, Cena got attacked. Brawls just kept happening in the ring. Styles literally went on everyone. There was a really good, and I can't remember what the movie's called, what Baron Corbin does. It's not the End of Days.
The Deep Six.
Deep Six on AJ Styles, and it was probably one of the best ones he's ever hit.
Like, I watched it, and I was just watching it all, just like the spin of it. I was just like, mate, this looks
I'd be
could
dizzy
watch this
after
for
that.
hours. I could watch it for hours. Like,
I'd get very bored. Zayn and Kevin had that moment in the ring where he was like, okay, very, very slowly, I'm going to lay down. And then, yeah, so in the end, I don't know whether Sami Zayn was going to roll him up anyways, or whether it was because Kevin Owens attacked him. But in the end, Sami nearly pins Kevin Owens, which kind of ends up out the ring where Sami Zayn's arguing with Shane McMahon. And then KO goes to kick Sami, ends up kicking Shane in the face, and then all stuff happens in the ring. And Shane ends up costing, I think he pulls Sami out. But
pulls
then
Kevin out first.
Pulls Kevin out, sorry, and then he pulls the ref out when Sami goes for a pin. That's the one.
No, pulls the ref out for Kevin Owens.
That's what I was going to say then. Yeah, pulls the ref out for Kevin, but then obviously pulls Sami out.
Yeah.
But yeah, then in the end, Cena's in the ring with, what's his name? Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens gets he gets a super kick on Cena in the end, doesn't he? And then obviously
super kick, yeah.
Phenomenal forearm onto Kevin. Un, deux, trois. And AJ Styles returns.
I'm just very annoyed with shit. Like, as much as I love Shane McMahon, he's one of my favourite McMahons. I'm getting annoyed with him. Like, and it's making me get angry thinking about it. Just because we know that he has. Everyone knows that they have issues with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Shane McMahon. We all know they've got their issues. Like, as soon as Shane McMahon went out, we all knew that they were going to screw over Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and I was like, I was well annoyed with that. I was like,
I found it actually quite good because
it did what it needed to do. It annoyed me.
Well, this is the thing. It added more to their side storylines. They are now well out of the US, out of the world title picture, so that's fine. And we all know that it was going to end up Shane in a match with them two in some way. So it's kind of at least led to that. And at the same time, I kind of believed at one point that Kevin Owens was going to get that first. Kevin Owens was going to get that first pin. And then I was like, 1 minute. Oh, and then Shane got back up. And I kind of did. I expected him to get involved somehow, but I wasn't sure when it was going to be. And after this week's SmackDown, I'm more than happy with what Shane did on Fastlane. So let's get into SmackDown. So a little segue.
So, SmackDown, you gotta fight. I swear that's the SmackDown theme song. You gotta fight. Over again. I don't know.
It is. I thought you were going to go into you gotta fight for your right to party.
No, that's later, mate. That's later on.
AJ Styles started off with saying about the dream match. Him and Shinsuke has similar paths. Shinsuke comes out and basically says knee to face. That's how you're going to lose. Rusev then comes out, which leads to a match of AJ versus Rusev, which I am not annoyed about because Rusev, in both the match at Fastlane and against AJ Styles, had a really good match with them. It was just the ending of this match I didn't like.
I didn't really watch SmackDown, so no comment.
This is what I mean by you're not the workhorse of this podcast.
Well, no, I like that late at night. I just fall asleep. I just crash, and then I have to watch the highlights.
We're recording on a Thursday. You had the whole of yesterday to watch it.
I actually was very busy yesterday. Even though I'm unemployed, I was very busy.
In the end, they have a really good match. But Styles goes for the pin, in which then Aiden English gets involved, and this is what I meant earlier by they need to get Aiden face, and then in the end, Shinsuke gets up very slowly and then helps AJ out, gets rid of Rusev and Aiden. Backstage after this, you had Big E and Jimmy Uso talking about let's have our truce, let's fight the Bludgeon Brothers. Our actual brothers are injured at the moment.
Very nicely done. I like that segment. Made sense.
I think with how serious Big E has been the last couple of weeks, I'm not going to say they're going to, but they could easily let him have a singles push.
Oh yeah, for sure. Big E have like the Intercontinental, and then Xavier and Coffee going for the tag team, and then still keep him as New Day.
Or even if they wanted him, you know, without the New Day, they easily could with how the performances he's been putting on recently.
He would have been ready for the push when he was with Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee.
True, very true.
Like, he was very ready then.
So yeah, they have a match against the Bludgeon Brothers, and the match doesn't even kick off at the start. But Jimmy Uso and Big E go and get chairs. They get whacked out of their hands with the mallets from the Bludgeon Brothers, and then in the end, the Bludgeon Brothers win via pinfall. And then a lot of post-match punishment for them both.
Oh yeah,
it was very weird. Very good though. Bludgeon Brothers looking strong. We're presuming, as we said earlier, that it's going to be a TLC S and M match against New Day, Bludgeon Brothers, and the Usos.
It'll be nice. It'll be a nice tribute to the Dudleys, who are going into the Hall of Fame, as I said earlier. And like, it'll be nice for Edge and Christian and the Hardys, who will be there. Maybe not so much Jeff, but Matt.
Speaking of the Hall of Fame, Kid Rock's in there. Cool.
Oh, don't.
Just
I've done more for WWE than Kid Rock has.
We're not going to talk over too much of this, just because I feel like we end up ranting too much about stuff that's not relevant. But my only thing is him going into the Hall of Fame. Who sang Biker Taker's theme tune? Could that be a hint for WrestleMania?
Maybe. I could personally. Let's
keep
talk
it short.
About this.
Keep it short.
Okay. Well, I've just got this feeling like, because Cena made it personal with Taker by mentioning the wife on the workout videos. Biker Taker's more than likely going to make an appearance here.
Yep.
Like, Undertaker's going to come out and be like, "You're messing with what's his real name? I've forgotten now.
Mark Calloway.
You're not messing with Undertaker now. You're messing with Mark," and then just
I'd
that's
hate
the only way I
that.
can.
I'd hate that. I'd hate for him to call himself Mark.
Well, but you got to think Cena's made it very personal with the wife level, so
yeah, it doesn't matter. He can still just call himself the Undertaker.
Yeah, but then or Biker Taker, whatever. Something.
I don't like
just
Mark.
Something to. Well, you know what I mean. Something pivotal, like make a key point to make him be like, "You're not messing with the dead man. You're messing with me now." And like then that brings the whole Kid Rock and the Undertaker, Biker Taker. You know why I'm going with this,
right?
So,
Asuka arrives over on Blue Brand, so that it kind of confirms that she, as we said, she's going to end up on SmackDown after WrestleMania. Charlotte actually introduced her, which I think was quite nice because it was nice that they actually did this whole thing.
Respect.
Yeah, it was a respectful thing. They have a back and forth, kind of. I still can't get behind Asuka in some ways because I feel like she doesn't understand what people are saying. And I know she's Japanese, and I know she hasn't been over here. Well, she has actually. She's been over here for at least 3 years. And I'm sorry, but just take her off of a few house shows, let her have some English lessons, let her cut some more promos. I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion. People are probably going to be like, "No, you're racist." I'm not racist.
No, like, at least have some form of broken English.
Yeah.
Like, instead of saying nobody's ready for Asuka week in, week out.
Exactly.
But like, don't get me wrong, I love Asuka. I love her to pieces. She's a great wrestler.
But yeah, she made a really good point. If you want to beat the woman, you got to beat the woman. She wanted Charlotte. She made it very clear. And for the second week in a row, Charlotte was interrupted by the US champion. Obviously, first was Bobby Roode. Second one was Randy Orton. And in my head, they cut to commercials and Randy Orton RKO'd everyone. In my head.
Just like Charlotte's getting arcade and Asuka's just like...
Yeah. Asuka's lost her streak to Randy Orton, by the way. That's all I'm saying, guys.
Dark match.
Which I don't understand. Like, I know when they try and do this, but it's normally like the Usos normally do a promo, and then the Bludgeon Brothers come out because they have a match against someone, but not. But Randy Orton's got nothing to do with Charlotte and Asuka. Doesn't make sense.
I think the only way I can see it is happening is to increase the rivalry between Bobby Roode and Randy Orton, because obviously they're the mixed match challenge partners.
Charlotte. Yeah, but Randy Orton isn't involved with the mixed match challenge.
Yeah, but it might be to get under Bobby's skin.
Maybe. Either way, Randy Orton came out, literally just sit on commentary whilst Bobby Roode and Jinder had a match. Which it's just an okay match. Just another one of those ones.
Filler.
Again, top 10 list didn't feature again. We've only had one top 10 list. I don't get what's happening with this.
Unless they're monthly,
It's been more than a month.
Has it? I think it might have just caused too much controversy.
It was a load of shit. It wasn't worth it.
They were trying to push for something that wouldn't work.
Yeah. In the end, Mahal wins, beats Bob, and then in the end, an RKO. I'm going to say out of nowhere, but it was kind of obvious that it happened. But yeah, another match where just kind of like, it's built into the triple threat. Pretty good match though, and their feud actually feels real now. So yeah, Naomi versus Carmella. This one was probably the only one match on the night so far where I was just kind of like, point of this?
Yeah. Like, SmackDown lately is just becoming like a case of there's two big feuds and then the rest are just like, is this... Yeah.
I agree and disagree. Before Fastlane, I would have 100% agreed. After Fastlane, I think the tag titles are really relevant. The US title feels like there's a good feud there. Sammy, Kevin and Shane feels like there's something there, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. Obviously, the WWE title feels like there's something there. The women's title feels like there's something there. It's just, I don't know why. I know they're just trying to keep Carmella a little bit strong, because I feel like at least if they push her strong, then people are more likely for her to believe her to win. But yeah, in the end, Carmella's just squealing, gets the win. Cool, let's move on from that. They advertised all night that Shane was gonna make an announcement. But and then in the night, Sami Zayn is like, you know what? I don't blame Shane McMahon. I blame Kevin Owens, because he's the bane of my life. And then Kevin Owens is backstage, is like, I don't blame Sami. I blame Shane. And then in the end, both Sami and Kevin end up blaming Shane to the weirdest noise possible of what happened when they powerbombed Shane onto that metal.
That genuinely sounded real to me. I had to turn it off. Like, it genuinely made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it seemed really real, and he went so purple.
He must have like landed wrong, and the wind must have been taken completely.
Either that, or he's a really good actor. But all I'm saying, and
I don't think you could act that.
All I'm saying, and someone argued with me on. Quite a few people argued with me on Twitter about this, is Shane McMahon, as much as you dislike him being on TV, getting involved with that, you've got to commend how much this man has put into WWE and how much he puts his body on the line, time in, time out.
For sure. I respect Shane. This is why he's my favourite McMahon. Like, his dad must have said, look, you're my son, you don't actually have to step in the ring. And he was like, I know. He's just like, he's gone against his father pretty much all of his career.
Yeah, and then we had some stupid marks getting involved, and we're like, yeah, but I want this and I want that. And I was like, okay, cool.
You're a mark.
I know, because some guy replied and was like, well, what's your fucking point? And I was like, well, I've already made my point. It's in the fucking tweet, you bellend. Fuck you. Whoever that guy was, fuck you.
Ryan Beak. Right,
let's move on to Raw. So SmackDown, I thought, was probably the best one that they've done. probably in 2018, which isn't much to go by. Thank you, Road Dogg, for that. You didn't know. But yeah, kind of makes me a bit more excited for their matches at WrestleMania.
I'm looking forward to the match. I'm looking forward to this year's WrestleMania because it actually already looks like a stacked card. I'm wanting to know what's going to be on the pre-show because everything looks like a main card match. I'm gonna be pissed if like the only one that I can potentially see going on the pre-show would be Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, and Jinder Mahal.
Title wise, yeah. Match wise, whatever they're doing over on Raw with the non-title women, so Absolution, Sasha and Bayley.
No, I don't think they'll get the
No,
airtime.
they'll get airtime, but it'll be pre-show.
Yeah, the pre-show is going to be like cause these 9 matches that I've got confirmed so far.
We'll talk about that at the end. Let's move on to Raw, and I know it's hard to, but we'll quickly get through this. Really good episode of Raw, how it kicked off. Kurt Angle in the ring, Brock Lesnar's not there, Roman Reigns angry, goes to gorilla position, which Shane McMahon is there. Like, what the fuck is he doing there? In the end, I'll come to your opinion in a minute. Let me just quickly go through what happened. Roman Reigns ends up going to Vince's office. They cut to commercial, come back. In the end, Vince, I know you keep saying Kevin then, Vince ends up saying blah 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 blah. He's been temporarily suspended. Brock Lesnar will be here next week. He won't be here next week. And then in the end, he is like, well, Roman Reigns has got to take the advice of his cousin, The Rock. If you didn't know, Roman Reigns is related to The Rock. And that's shut your mouth and know your place.
Shut your mouth and know your role. I was quite shocked at this little turn of events because like it's very. I enjoyed it. I was shocked, but I enjoyed it. I loved it. All because all the in-ring stuff didn't shock me. It's when the camera followed Roman into the back.
They don't normally go to gorilla,
That was the shocking part because, yeah, like that's like one of the things you're not supposed to see of WWE, and like they've just kind of.
My only downfall with this is they're obviously trying to do a whole kind of what Steve Austin used to do, but at the same time is. If they really wanted Roman against kind of the authority figure and Brock type thing in this segment was Roman literally should have speared Vince through that door after saying know your place or know your role.
But Vince is old.
Yeah, they can get a stunt double in there. They can do camera work.
Yeah, to be fair, they
kayfabe put him through, shoot. Put someone else through. So did have Triple H dress up as Vince McMahon again. Attitude Era.
Stop it.
Oh mate, that's one. I'm going to go back and watch that after this. Sasha Banks versus Sonya Deville. Bayley came down to the ring, but then ended up leaving at the end. And even though she helped her win the match, don't really get it. But yeah, Sasha Banks beat Sonya Deville. They ended up attacking her at the end. Cool. Anything to say on this one?
No, I didn't really watch this one, so I got.
Well, let's move on from it then.
Sorry.
Miz TV. I love The Miz so much for this. It was great. He invites Finn. He invites Seth. Goes to Seth. Look, Seth. Me and you should have had a match. Doesn't work. Okay, Finn. Me and you should have had a match. And then both of them were kind of like, oh, shut up, Miz. And then in the end, the Miz just stands in the back. Seth and Finn are getting in each other's faces, and you can just see Miz's smile getting bigger and bigger and bigger when in the end they turn on him. And it was great.
Brilliant. It was brilliant. Well played.
Miz TV was amazing. But yeah, in the end, the Miz ends up saying... well, we're going to have my boys, the Miz Taraj, aren't with me because they're going to be in the next match, which is against the Bar. And then in the end, all the tag teams end up coming out and attacking the Bar, which leads to the bar backstage going to Kurt Angle, look, we want to be traded over to SmackDown, which it doesn't make sense because they've got the tag titles. Like, you can't just take the Raw tag titles over to SmackDown. Doesn't make sense. But I can understand sort of where they went with it. And then in the end, they end up making a match where they have all the tag teams face off, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Next was the John Cena promo, in which you was involved with this. Next up, we had the John Cena promo, in which you was involved with this, giving John Cena your beer.
Well, you know, I thought he deserved it. He's really swung me around on him recently, so...
was really
John,
tiny sip though. That's what made me laugh. He's like, he grabs the beer, he's like, takes the tiniest sip. He's like, oh, that's good. It's like, yeah, I'm American. I love beer. It's just like he takes the tiniest of sips.
He probably hasn't drunk in a while because of his abs. Like, he was scared if he took more than one sip, he'd be wasted. It's fine. Cena, you're welcome.
It made me laugh. This was honestly. John Cena's promos have been fantastic, and I know people don't like him, and I genuinely believe John Cena's over, and so people could argue against this and say, yeah, but people are chanting John Cena sucks, but at the same time, I'd say half the crowd are chanting both sides of let's go Cena, Cena sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, he brings up the match against The Undertaker because at first he's like, right, I could be a fan, I could be sitting next to you, be a moment, and he goes, or I could challenge The Undertaker. And he says, right, let's try something out. I'm going to challenge The Undertaker. And if I say it again, my mic will get cut off if it's backstage. I'm going to challenge The Undertaker, which I'm saying his mic getting cut off is definitely a reference to the pipe bomb. Definitely a reference.
Definitely.
So in the end, he says, I'm challenging you, Mark. He doesn't actually say Mark. But he basically says, you know, you've been working out in your wife's Instagram, which everyone has been talking about for the last couple of weeks. And says, yeah, I want that.
Yeah, like, it's one of Cena's best promos, like, for this sort of thing. Like, he made it personal, which I always love. If I'm watching a wrestling angle, I like the personal side of things, like when Triple H and CM Punk were having their rivalry, like when Punk was like, well, Paul, and then he was like, well, if you're calling me Paul, I'm calling you Phil, and I was like, oh, damn.
Ooh.
Like,
where's your movie? Probably like yours, went straight to DVD.
Today was some, like, I love it when it gets personal, like when The Miz, like, I'm never going to forget, The Miz is always going to be the one that holds the best ones, with Daniel Bryan, with Enzo Amore, those
even recent ones where he just says about Finn and over in Japan where he does a hand signal that isn't even his, and I was just like, oh, they're not the original Click.
He gets away, like, Vince must absolutely hate it, but he gets away with it because, like, it's bringing the heat to the rivalry.
Yeah.
So, like, Vince is like, you've got to tone it back a bit, Miz, and talk about the muscles. And, like, because obviously Vince McMahon, big lover of his musculars.
Yeah. Then we go to Braun backstage. He says that, you know, he's going to do more to Elias. Talks about the Symphony of Destruction match that they had. And then in the end, he says that a lack of a WrestleMania match, so he's going to get his own way to WrestleMania, which I got really confused about. It kind of didn't click to me, but we'll explain more in a bit. Then we had a really good match between Blue Balor and Fire Pants Rollins. And it was really good. They both kept trying to hit their... It was like another Uso versus New Day thing. Like, they knew each other so well that they both kept trying to do, like, certain moves on each other. And then in the end, Finn ends up defeating Seth.
Yeah, like, these next few weeks are going to be very pivotal. I don't know.
Pivotal, yeah.
Very pivotal for this rivalry, because, like, they've got to make sure they put the focus on all three men and make sure all three men are over. So, like,
yeah,
no one can predict it. Like, we all know The Miz is probably going to lose because he's got a child due very soon, but like, they still want to obviously make it look like that's not the case.
Yeah, true.
So
Next, Charlie, with all of her robotics, tries to interview Asuka. Alexa Bliss comes out. Alexa Bliss really speaks down to Asuka and ends up like basically saying, "You don't understand what I'm saying, but you know, you chose Charlotte because I'm better than Charlotte. You wanted an easier route." And then Asuka does her thing where she says, "To be the woman, I've got to beat the woman," and was really good. Ends up leading to an Asuka versus Mickie James match after Alexa Bliss is like, "You've got beef with this woman." Nothing happens. "You've got beef with this woman." Still nothing happens. So yeah, then it led to Asuka versus Mickie James, in which Asuka obviously defeats Mickie James after. Mickie James actually had quite a good match here. But yeah, then at the end, which is really weird because they haven't explained why Mickie James is with Alexa, and at the end, Alexa Bliss walks off away from Mickie James in the ring. It was weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
WWE.
True.
They go from making sense to why so quick. It's just so.
We had Nia versus a local competitor. Obviously demolished her, but what was more important was afterwards, Charlie was meant to have an interview with Alexa and Mickie in a changing room that they never ever do stuff in, and then it just so happens the camera was rolling and there was a mic there, and then Kevin Dunn decides to be an absolute prick and just go, let's just play this to everyone.
Nice one, Kevin Dunn.
Nice one.
Splitting up Team Rude.
So in the end,
Love Team Rude.
yeah, Alexa and Mickie are slagging off Nia, basically calling her like a lot of, I don't like where they're
really digging in.
and I don't like where they're going with it. I don't like the body shaming angle.
Be a star.
Um,
Don't be a bully. Be a star.
And
Just
in the end,
what a
Nia
friend.
runs backstage and trashes everything. And honestly, I have never been so into Nia before in my life. And I don't mean that sexually.
I mean it sexually.
Yes, a screaming larger woman.
Oh,
Hello
hell
there.
yeah.
I'm a little bit aroused right now. No,
You
she chucked stuff everywhere. She screamed. She cried. It was very believable from Nia.
Oh, yeah, like, because that genuinely kind of looked like a breakdown, because I don't think Alexa kind of clued in Nia what she was actually going to say,
True.
and actually kind of dug in on some actual issues. Fun.
Right, let's get into
Good old
the
fun.
last bit. Speaking of fun, they went to have the tag team battle royale, which all the tag teams are in the ring, including Heath Slater and Rhino,
And then...
the Good Brothers. You haven't let me finish yet. The Good
sorry.
Brothers, the Revival, Apollo, Titus Worldwide, one other tag team. Oh, the Miz Taraj, and then
Braun!
literally everyone was like, "Can this happen?" And it's like, well, technically it's a battle royale. I mean,
When Braun got in the ring, it was like he was yelling and ring the bell, and everyone's like, "What the?"
that was the
fuck is
funniest
happening?
thing. Ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
Yeah, so Braun ends up winning. Like Carl, it was so funny. It was Carl Anderson left in the ring, I believe. I can always get them two mixed up.
Poor Carl Anderson. I would love to see Luke Gallows and Braun be the final two.
The thing is, Carl got like a lot of offense in, and then in the end, just gets dumped over. And then yeah, that ended Raw because it was great because as he chucked him over, he was like, "I'm going to WrestleMania!" in like his normal voice, in his non-kayfabe voice, and it was just like, oh, okay, yes, you are.
Isn't it his first like WrestleMania as well?
Um,
Like first WrestleMania match he's been in.
was he not in the Andre the
Like-
Giant last year?
Yeah, like
Oh,
yeah, but I won't class
proper
that as a
match.
match.
Proper
Like
match.
yeah, like it's where the focus is on him.
Yeah, true.
Like
Yeah. So
we're having a lot of first WrestleMania matches this year. We're going to have Shinsuke Nakamura have his first WrestleMania match. Finn Balor as well.
yeah, because he was injured.
Asuka.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman.
The right.
Ronda Rousey.
if they decide to do Absolution, then I guess that technically that would be their first WrestleMania match, but it would probably be pre-show.
Shayna Blaze as well.
What?
Shayna Blaze, yeah, she's announced for the Fabulous Moolah Battle
Oh,
Royal.
let's not talk about that. We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
But
like we're having
yeah, but no, but if we're talking about the Battle Royals, then Braun's technically had the match before, but we won't classify the Battle Royals, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got a lot of first.
Like
WrestleMania is going to be really good.
I'd like to see Pete Dunne on the pre-show defending his UK Championship.
I said this, I think, a couple of podcasts ago when you couldn't make it. I literally said, give him a match. Don't care who it's against. Give them 15 minutes, even if it's pre-show. Put it towards the end of the pre-show when the stadium's starting to get full, and just say to them, you know what? You've got 15 minutes. Have fun. Go play, kids. Be safe. Or don't be safe.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Fuck NXT TakeOver, like, the night before, because that's already got some stacked matches. They don't need Pete Dunne on that card to make it stacked.
No.
They need Pete Dunne on that card just to be like, yeah, we can have good matches here on the main roster too.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it'll please everyone, because like I'm really looking forward to the new championship NXT going to be introducing, and I'm looking forward.
Spoiler
to the
alert.
match. So
yep,
spoiler alert.
So
I forgot.
Okay, so we say that Pete Dunne, just really quickly because we need to wrap this up. Pete Dunne gets a match on the pre-show against who?
I'm gonna say Roderick Strong.
They already had that match.
Yeah, but did you not watch NXT last night?
I did, but I also know who ends up, or I know what happens between them two.
I would like. I kind of.
Do you know what happens between them two?
No, go on, tell me.
Okay, spoiler alert. So if you don't want to know, it's gonna just literally mute us for or skip a minute.
This will be the end of the podcast for you.
Yeah, pretty much. We still got 205 live to come. Maybe. 1 minute. So apparently it's going to be Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong as a tag team in the final of
the Dusty Rhodes Classic.
Apparently.
Oh, fucks.
Right. So we'll say not Roderick Strong. One person I'd love to see him in a match against, and that is gentleman Jack Gallagher. If he's not going to end up in the cruiserweight final.
Yeah.
Say Jack Gallagher gets knocked out, Pete Dunne comes out at the end, and then Jack Gallagher's like, okay, WrestleMania it is.
Jack Gallagher's been knocked out. Wasn't even in the Cruiserweight Classic. Well, he was, but he got eliminated first round.
No, he hasn't. He was on this week.
Yeah, he got. Yeah, but he wasn't in a qualifier.
Oh, was he not?
He got knocked out by Mustafa Ali. Who faced Buddy Murphy. Like, it's Cedric Alexander versus either Drew Gulak or Mustafa Ali, and I reckon it's going to be Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gulak. Keep that kind of Zoe train going.
Zoe train. But yeah, I'd love to see him face Jack Gallagher, because he's actually from the UK.
Well, they had a match in progress not too long ago. Jack Gallagher and
that was weird.
Pete Dunne for the cruise. No, not really, because
Pete
Dunne's been defending.
Yeah, but it's weird that Jack Gallagher, like you said before, it was weird when Apollo went back to his old one.
Yeah, but WWE become more accustomed to do it.
But it's still
Drew McIntyre.
No, Drew McIntyre didn't have a match. He only went back for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but he would have had a match if he wasn't injured.
He wouldn't have had a match.
He would have.
He's he's so much of a push. If he was injured, he'd either be NXT champion or he'd be on the main roster.
It's a tough one. Anyway, we need to wrap this up.
So to end the podcast, we're going to send it over to Dallas for his 205 Live roundup.
Go on, Dallas.
I am Dallas Barnes, here with Running Wrestling. You can follow me at AllWrestling420. And I am here to give you my run-up of 205 Live for this week. This week consisted of 3 matches. And a semi-final match for the 205 Live Cruiserweight Championship tournament. The first match of the night was Akira Tozawa and Hito Atami versus Lucha Underground, Lucha Party, I think they're called, which consists of Grand Metalik and Lince Dorado. If this is what we are in store for the rumor, if you believe all that stuff, tag team championships for the division, then I am all for it. These two have been these four mixed together very well, and I would love to see more of this in the future. Hell, make it a trios title. There isn't one of those in WWE yet, and I feel like that could be fun, to say the least, with the talent on this roster. Next, we have Jack Gallagher in the squash match. This new attitude of Jack Gallagher is fantastic. I don't know if you guys have been following since the beginning of 205 Live. This dude used to come out with an umbrella, goofy and gentlemanly, and now he's a badass. And I really hope they continue with this character for a while, at least. And finally, we have the semifinals of the Cruiserweight Championship with Cedric Alexander and Roderick Strong. The lumbar check versus backbreaker. Go out your way to watch this. If you haven't watched this match yet, you are missing something. You are missing something, absolutely. You are missing a brand grow in front of your eyes with this type of action. This match was A++, probably one of the best matches we've seen on 205 Live yet. And Cedric Alexander I wouldn't say he was my pick since Mustafa Ali is my pick, but I would say he was one of my picks to get to the finals. And with his in-ring action, I think he's really starting to win the crowd behind them too. Before I head out, can we talk about, if you guys haven't checked out Mustafa Ali's promos on his Twitter, please do so. It is self-cut promos. He produces them himself and everything. And they're better than anything I have seen on the main roster yet this year. So, yeah, go out of your way to check that out. I will see you next week on Running Wrestling Podcast, and goodbye.
Do our actual normal ending. So that brings us to the end of the podcast, a very long one. I feel like this week in wrestling was, because it was so good, we've ended up talking a lot more than we should have done. This is probably our longest podcast so far. So if you have made it this far, well done to you. I am definitely gonna leave timings in the info section on YouTube, podcast app, and everywhere else as well. Just so if people want to go back and listen to something again like you normally would, like me going on the phone, then that's fine.
There you go. There you go.
So yeah, make sure you're checking us out on all of the social medias. It's Run In Wrestling everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube, the podcast app. Yinan.
Yeah, Yinan is a very popular social media. Make sure you're checking us out on Tinder too. Swipe right.
Swipe right on us on all of our social media. Make sure you're getting involved as well. We're putting out tweets constantly throughout each day. We're posting our opinions, and we'd love to hear yours as well. I actually really enjoy discussing wrestling with people when they're not arguing with me. I like a discussion.
You're wrong. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure he knew he was wrong, guys.
We've had quite a few people say, well, what about this idea? And I'm like, you know what? I haven't thought about that. I respect that, but here's my opinion on that. That's what I like.
And to you idiots who want to grab a Nazi, go ahead. Like I'm quickly typing to make sure the information gets out to you quicker.
It happens. Everyone does it. And I'm not being funny, but the President of the United States does it. So on that note, on that bombshell, goodbye.
All right, Jeremy Clarkson.